3D packages is via something called ShapeKeys, and here they are in the Data tab. And let's press plus once, and it creates the base, and second time it creates the actual shape key. And let's call this one blink and the other one angry, and we can have surprised, or actually it would be better to just call them browse up and browse down instead of surprised and angry, because this we're not gonna create like truly real emotions for this face right now, but the technique is the same. What basically does do, they morph between different states of geometry, and that allows us to create different facial expressions. So we'll start with the blink shape key. Let's select it in the menu and go to edit mode. And now every change that we make to the geometry is going to be recorded to this blink state. So I'm going to select this eyelid planes that we created before for that purpose, and lower them down. And now when we're in the object mode, if we change the value of blink, this geometry moves from the base state to the state we've created here. Let's do the same for the eyebrows. This is we're now recording change for lowering eyebrows for this kind of angry looking state. Let's switch to the center of rotation to the active element, and why is it there? Yeah. So rotate it a little bit to create this angry, kind of angry looking face. Like that. We can take it to the extreme because we can change the ratio of angriness with the value parameter of the shape key when we're animating. Now let's do the same for the surprised or eyebrows up state, the shape key, also called the morph in some other softwares, like 3ds Max calls those morphs, not shape keys. Okay, good. Let's test it out now. Switch back to the object mode. And so whichever of the shape keys is selected, when we drag the value slider, we change the effect of it. So we can move the eyebrows up and down with that. Yes, that works fine. And blinking as well. Looks even better with the textures. I could add more shape keys and ones that would control mouth, for example. But this would be done the same way, and you can already see how. So if you want to, you can do it on your own. What I would like us to do now is to add a controller for moving the eyes. For this character, we could just do a couple of shape keys that would move them because it's so simple. But generally, for a more complicated character, you would never do that. So let's do it. So let's do it properly. First of all, I want to move them out into the center because it would be hard to move these eyes when they're like that. As soon as one eye starts looking a little bit to the side, the other one would go um, obscured by the head geometry. So I'm going to move them out to the center. And this is actually a very interesting feature or difference of Blender. In any other software, doing that on a lower level would actually mess up the shape key system. But Blender is surprisingly okay with that change. So I would like to add an additional bone to this system that we're going to use to control the eyes. So So here I am. Here I've added one with Shift A. There's nothing special that about this bone, but I'm just gonna link it to the head bone with keep transform, keep offset. And then put it right a little bit in front of the head. Check if it works. Oh, it doesn't. I wanted it to move with the head. Let's go back to the edit mode. And probably linked it in the wrong way, so I'm selecting this one and that one. And Control P. Yes, now I have to kind of see the connection line. And it is linked to the head bone. So, and now I'm just gonna skin this pupil geometry to that bone. Let's name it, because the name is actually a little bit important here. Can I add another geometry that we're gonna use um, for that bone, to visualize that bone, the same way we did with that circle. I just want to make it a small circle. Or it could be a cross. Usually we would do a cross, actually, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, I forgot to turn on the screencast of the hotkeys. So let's rename it to something that we'll be able to refer to. Switch that working layer and change the visualization of that. Like that. Maybe it's a bit too big. Scale it down. Make sure it looks good. Now on the geometry itself, I'm going to create a new vertex group uh, for a new vertex group that is corresponding to that bone that we've just added. Just want to know the name of that bone because I don't really remember it. Yes, here it is. And with the both pupils selected, press plus, and that creates a group of, with these vertices. I just rename that group to exactly the name of that bone and press assign. And let's check if it worked. Let's select one of the vertices, and the vertex weight menu appears in the sidebar. And it did work, but the vertices still have a weight of 1 from the head. So let's select all of these vertices and change head to 0 and press copy, just the same way we did with the head before. And I could have selected the other eye as well, but let's repeat it for the eye. Good, and let's move that bone now and see how it works. Yep, works good. Yes, this is exactly what we wanted. Usually you would have a spherical eye, and you would have a lookout constraint on it, but you would still have this bone that is an aim for that lookout constraint. You know what? Maybe let's create one more shape key for the cross-site state of that character, because this is how the reference is, just in case we're gonna want to do that. Bring them back in. So as you can see, the shape keys are not necessarily used for animation only. This can be just switch a toggle between two states that you want to have. I'm gonna see if during the animation I want to keep him cross-eyed or want to have this normal-ish look.